From the Battle of Yorktown in 1781 to the 369th Harlem Hellfighters of World War I, African Americans have served with honor. But when one looks back at the history of African American military service, there is a significant event with a direct connection to Fort Benning.
African Americans have had a long history of stellar service here in the United States military, dating all the way back to some of the first combat units being deployed during World War I. The big tie-in that we have that I think of personally as being a paratrooper is the Triple Nickel, the 555 Parachute Infantry Regiment that first stood up here at Fort Benning, Georgia.
The Triple Nickels were the nation's first all-black parachute infantry battalion when the unit was created at Fort Benning in 1944. During a time when most black soldiers drove trucks or served in mess halls, the men of the 555th became a highly trained and effective unit, blazing new trails for future generations of soldiers to follow. While stationed at Fort Benning, the Triple Nickels were on alert for deployment to Europe to support the war effort, but never got their chance. Instead, they received a very different assignment.
They were actually sent to Oregon to fight wildfires that had been started by the Japanese balloon attacks that were actually dropping firebombs in the forests around the Oregon area. And this is something I didn't know until I researched it a little bit. They were actually pushed there, and they became the military's first smoke jumping unit, and they were trained by the Forest Services there in Oregon.
At the time, the Japanese were sending incendiary devices attached to balloons across the Pacific Ocean in a successful attempt to start forest fires in the northwestern United States. But the Triple Nickel smoke jumpers answered the call. Logging more than 1,200 individual jumps during the summer of 1945, the battalion fearlessly answered over 30 fire calls throughout the northwestern United States. The Triple Nickels would go on to serve in more airborne operations in peacetime and war than any other parachute group in history. And history will never forget the courage and heroism this battalion displayed in the 1940s while fighting for a country still not quite ready to treat them as equals.
When the time comes and you are in a combat situation, you could care less what color of skin the person is next to you. I'm glad to say everybody that I work with and most of the people that I call my friends and brothers and the warriors that we fight with, they feel the same way.
Fort Benning will celebrate Black History Month and African American military service with a special observance ceremony on February 19th. David Wright, Fort Benning TV.